this year I am going to start growing ginger for the first time, so wish me luck. So today is February 14. Happy Valentine's, by the way. And I am going to try to sprout this ginger that I got from my local grocery store. I never done this before, so I am just going by what other people have shown online on the internet. Thank goodness for Google, because I will have no idea what to do. But I basically just went to my local store. I looked for the best looking pieces that had some ice growing already. If you deal with dahlias, you know what I'm talking about when I said ice, but if you're not familiar with that, let me bring you a little bit closer so that I can show you. The ice that I'm talking about are these little dots that you can see right about here. Some of them are really visible right away, but some others are kind of hidden in between. See right here? That's an eye right there. It's an eye right here. It's an eye right there. And right here I have two eyes, 1 and 2. So when you go to the grocery store and you start buying your ginger for growing, see that little eye right there in between, that right there? You want to look for pieces that are, first of all, they're looking healthy, that don't feel soggy, and something that you can definitely use for sprouting. In this case right here, this guy has 3 big eyes growing, I think. See these 2 right here? So these are perfect for what I'm trying to do here, and I am going to show you what I am going to do next. Okay, so I am using one of these regular 10 by 10 trays. Remember, these long ones are your standard 10 by 20. This just means that they are 20 inches long by 10 inches deep, 10 by 20. So these guys, the half size, are 10 by 10s. And these right here are already have the drainage holes at the bottom. So I am using some regular potting mix. Use whatever you have at home. And the idea is to try to get these rhizomes to sprout. So I am not going to be worried about the distance, how far apart they are, because they're not going to be here permanently. I am just trying to get them to develop some roots to sprout, and then I can move into their semi-permanent place where they can keep on growing until they're ready to be outside. And I am doing this really early because apparently they need a long time to develop if I want to get a nice harvest at the end of the season. So I am going to just break them apart like this. And the only reason why I'm breaking them apart is because I want to make sure that they are evenly here, that I can fit all of that in here. Some of these are kind of like half on top of the other, so I just want to make sure that I have space for all of them. And if you're wondering, I have been soaking those in water for the last 2 hours or so. I figured that it wouldn't hurt. And there are a lot of ways to do this. I know some people just leave them in water, and once they develop enough roots and they move them into soil. I figure I can just do this way and see if it works. Again, I have never done this before, so I'll get to do that. I get to try them this year, and next year I can tweak my dates or the technique. Perfect. So I got the perfect amount and I got the perfect size here, so I just need a little bit more potting mix. That's perfect. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to bottom water really, really heavy this the first time. Apparently, ginger is one of those plants that when you try to wake them up, when you try to sprout the rhizomes, they really need to have like a nice soaking part first. Let them dry a little bit. Do not keep them wet the whole time. The drying part and the getting wet apparently wakes the rhizomes and it helps them to sprout. So again, I have never done this, but I'm going to add a lot more water than that. And I love these trays because I can use bottom water, everything that I need. Like I said, this 10 by 10 tray has already drainage holes. So wish me luck. I don't know, like I said, I've never done this before, so I don't know if they're going to be sprouting soon or if they're going to take their time, but I'm going to keep this moist, and hopefully I can show you some sort of progress here in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so today, February 14th, I am going to start a couple of tomato plants. Oh, of course, my light just went off. Okay, hopefully that's better. This is my third year starting plants from seeds. And the first year, 2 years ago, when I started my tomatoes early in February, because I thought that was the right time to start in my zone, I ended up with huge plants. And at the end of the season, towards the beginning of May, I had tomatoes growing in these containers. These are huge, and yes, it was overkill. They were huge plants, and hardening off was quite a process for me. And the following year, last year, the second year, I started my tomatoes in March. And I ended up with tomatoes, you know, in solo cups. They were a good size, so it wasn't that big of a deal. However, the first year when I started them early, I got tomatoes a little bit early, about 3 to 4 weeks earlier than the second year. So that being said, I am going to start just a couple of plants, a couple of tomatoes that I can have in these huge containers at the end of the season that are not, you know, 3 feet tall plants, because I can deal with 2 of these instead of having to deal with 40 of these. So I am going to start Dr. Witches because it's one of my favorite tomatoes. And these are actually seeds for last year. And actually this one is empty, so let me grab another packet. Okay. Oh, probably here. Okay. So these are the seeds that I saved from last year, and these are the seeds that I got from a couple of years ago for last year. So I'm going to try my older seeds because that's what you should do anyway when you have plenty of seeds of one variety. You just need to use the older seeds first. Okay. So I really need 2 plants. And these are older seeds. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put 3 seeds on each container. And I have no doubt that they're all going to germinate, but just in case, because you know, they're older seeds. And I have a regular potting mix here. I am planning to thin them out once they germinate. So I want to leave them here for a while. And once they start growing their first set of true leaves, then I don't have to worry about moving them out right away because they already are in potting mix. So there you go. I'm going to label them. And there you have it. I am going to treat this just the same as I treat anything else. they're going to be going under my LED lights, and once they're old enough here, if they germinate right away, then I will probably be potting them up in 3 or 4 weeks or so to something like this size. And from there, we'll jump into maybe even something like this, and from here into this. I know it's a lot of potting up, but I don't mind it. Like I said, I'd rather just deal with two of these size than having to deal with all of my tomatoes getting really big. But I'm going to try and see if I can still get the early tomatoes, the early harvest tomatoes, by starting them a little bit early. So we'll see how they do. Like I mentioned, the first year that I started them really early, around this time, I got tomatoes actually in June. But the second year, when I pushed them off for about a month, I got tomatoes until July. So we'll see how it goes this year. I'll keep you updated. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like it, maybe share it with one of your friends. And thank you for being here. Until the next time.